Batman, G.I. Joe, X-Men, Spider-Man. Oh, Captain America. That's the one I want to draw. That's the one. It might be too hard though. Our students, isn't that usually the way it happens? You're looking through a book or magazine or something and you see a picture that you really like and you want to draw it, but then you look at it some more and you say, I think this will be too hard, and you don't even attempt it. So today in this video, I'm going to show you how to never say that again, because I'm going to show you how to look at a picture, analyze it, and then draw it. So this one's going to be a deep one. This is going to be deep and detailed. So let's get to class and let's get started. All right, our students, you might want to grab a snack for this one, because this one's going to be, I don't want to say long, but it will be detailed. But I'm not going to rush this one because I want to pick each thing apart and show you how simple it is so that you can finally stop doubting yourself or saying, I can't do something. All right, so I cut this page out of the book, but fear not, because it was an old Wizard magazine that I was going to throw away. And I said, let me look in here and see if I can find something for you guys. So, I got this one. This is pretty straightforward. This is straight up, standing up. And usually when you start, at least when I started trying to draw the body, I always wanted the easy part to stand up so I can just draw my character. I didn't want anything twist and turn because I wanted to see the suit of my character. So I started out with this one, and if time permitting, I will do this one. So yeah, we'll see. We will see. Depends on how long it takes for me to get through this one. All right, so as I said earlier, usually we'll look through a book or something and then we'll see a picture. And I got a lot of glare, so I'm gonna have to turn this light on. Hopefully it won't bother you, but because I cannot see this picture. Yeah, that's good. So we'll go through a book and we'll see a picture and we'll say, oh, okay, I want to draw that. But then we look at it and was like, oh, that's too hard to draw. Well, I'm gonna break it down so it's not hard to draw ever again. And the first thing I'm going to do, the first thing you have to do is analyze it. So you saw the picture, so you want to analyze it and just kind of look at it and see how everything twists, how it turns, how it relates. So the first thing you want to do is the torso. And I keep harping on the torso, and that's because it's true. So as I draw, let me show you. So the first thing I want to make sure it fits on this paper. I'm going to zoom out in a minute, but I wanted you to see this whole Captain America. So I'm going to do a torso as an example, as a quick example. So I won't do a circle. It'll be more of an oval, kind of a fake egg shape. So that's always going to, in any character you have, you're going to have your torso. And I always say start with the torso first, because your head is not going anywhere. Your head is just there to make, angry faces. So you look at your torso, and I look at this guy's torso, and I notice it's not straight down the center. It's curved a little bit. That's one of the most important things about it. So I'll say right here, and it's not important in the beginning that you get it exactly perfectly right, because you don't want to do that. You want to have your own style, your own feel to whatever you draw, whether you have his fist like this, or you have an open hand, or clenched fingers, or you have his hand down. Whenever you do a picture, you want to kind of change it up just a little bit so people won't say, oh, you copied that. Even though you looked at it and you drew from it, you wouldn't call it a complete copy, because I changed it. I opened up the stance a little bit, or I closed the stance a little bit, or I turned it more to the side, or I dropped the shield down. So you want to think about that when you start drawing, because when you say, oh, it doesn't look exactly like, you don't want to go for that. You want to have your own style. So, okay, so we have this center line here in the torso turn. Now, this is the second most important thing, is the shoulders. Now, that's something I used to have problems with, doing the shoulders, because I didn't understand what the delt was and the relationship to the collarbone and any of that. And I would draw, and I'd have like one delt here, and the other delt would be down here. And I knew something was wrong, but I couldn't really put my fingers on it. So let's see if I can reduce some of this light so that I can still see. All right, so this is going at an angle like that. And you notice, I always say when you draw your torso, your collarbone comes here. You see how much shoulder is left? So you want to make sure you have plenty of shoulder left. All right, so then we're going to come down the bottom. Now, wherever this hits, where this circle and this line hits, that's where you're turning. Your body is actually turning. So the amount of turn here, or the amount of curve here, the amount of curve here, you want to have that same amount of curve right here going to the bottom. So wherever this bottom hits, then you know that's where your stomach is going to hit, from here on there. And then of course your chest is going to be just above that, and it's going to curve right up in here. So this is what I created when I was young, because I had nobody to teach me how to draw, and I couldn't, like as I say, I couldn't figure out the relationships between all these pieces. So I just started drawing lines across to see what was what and where what fit how, whatever. And I came up with this, which is what I call the beetle. And that helped me a lot. I don't know, it looked like a scarab or beetle when I first did it. And it doesn't look like it now, but it helped me a lot. So in any drawing, this is what I do first. So a couple weeks back, somebody asked me to do, I'm gonna cut this off for a second. Somebody asked me to do or asked me how would I go about doing the stick figure. And I did a stick figure video years ago that helped somebody else out, but this is somebody else. And then I went back and I looked at that and I was like, you know, that's old. It's good for just straight up and down, but it's not really going to work when you're doing turns and actions. So I came up with the stick figure, but I incorporated using the beetle method in there, and I changed the hip a little bit, a lot of it. So usually in a stick figure or in the books, when you get a drawing book, they'll say, okay, do this and then do this and do this and then do this, you know, but they leave this part out. They really don't tell you. They give you a little line, but that's about it. So, you know, they don't, can you see this? Because I'm seeing this, it's not on camera. They give you a line, kind of like your center line indicating, but they don't give you the detail. Once you get this straight, then the rest is really simple. It's really simple. So let me continue this. I don't want to pull back just yet until I start drawing the actual figure. So after you have these lines, you have your delts, which are just, I got to get my light again because this is really glared on me. You have your delts, which is just basically a circle. Okay, so, and that your chest stops here. His chest stops here because he is turned. So you're just going to have at this point that circle right here. And actually your delts come down almost to the bottom of your chest. A lot of times I'll do them small, but I'm so used to it, I know how to fix it. Just in my head, I fix it. So you have the one going down here and the other one is going up. So I can actually tilt this one. This is why I say when you analyze something, just when you draw it, compare it. So this is going to be in the body. This is not going to be off the body. I used to do that too. I used to do it and to take it, always take it off the body, and then one side would be longer than the other. But then when you turn something, it's going to be into the body. So it's going to be like this. It's going to be into the body. Now, to me, 80% of the drawing is done. What's wrong with you, camera? What's wrong with you? So the last part of the torso is that V for the neck. So you have your center line here, V for your neck. You come up. And as I said, a lot of times when you want to draw somebody that is like muscular, the neck is going to come along right down the sides of the face, because you want a thick neck. So if I put my head there, and usually you see how this comes around, this circle comes around and it kind of touches the bottom of his chin. You want your chin to actually touch the bottom of that circle, or the top of that circle. That way your head is not too far up or too low down, unless he's putting his head down, like looking down at the ground at a quarter. He needs that quarter to buy some bubble gum or something. So I do my head shape, which is, for the man, it's mostly rectangle and round at the bottom, squared off at the top, and then my neck comes right down here, like so. All right, so that's the hard part. Now, let's continue with this down. The thing is, you have to make sure this line is right, because if not, you're going to throw something off. So if he's curved like this, it doesn't curve all the way around. It curves and then comes down. It kind of like dips here and it comes out, down like that. So it's going to do something like this. It's going to dip in and come down because this is a ball. This is a ball, shall we say. And that curved line is going to come around it unless it is facing you forward. I know I just chopped that off, but you saw what I'm saying. You saw what I'm doing. I don't usually have the camera this close zoomed in. So even if you turn to the other side, no matter how much you turn, this is a ball, and if you put a stripe down it, it's not going to be straight down here. It's going to curve. It's going to curve. So just remember that. So it's coming off of this ball, and a lot of times you make it drop. You just make that center line drop, or you twist that center line. Depends on where his hips or her hips are going. And that center line should be always be in the center of this shape. Oval. Thank you. I lost it for a second. Mean shapes. So let's do this. We're going to go down, and you don't want to go too far. Just like in the books, you want to have this and this, but I'm going to change that a little bit. So I don't want to go too far down. I don't want it to be too high up. And this is why you do stuff lightly first before you do this, before you put a lot of detail into something and then it ends up not working for you. I'm trying to get my light out of your guy, the way, so you can see it. So right away, if this was the final picture, the legs would have went off the page. So you want to do this. And then since you're seeing more of this side, you want to do this. You want to turn that into kind of like a little drum almost, but it's going to be a cylinder, right? If I'm doing a female, I'm going to bring it out more. But if I'm doing a man, I'm going to bring it in to keep, so he can have that V taper. And then you put your legs right here on the center. You're going to do the stick leg right here on the center. And since that leg is out, we're going to do this. Now, I'm not going to do the whole thing on this. I'm going to redo it on another piece of paper because I wasn't going to go this far. But since I did, you got that knowledge. I'm going to go and change it. This is what I wanted to show you. This is the most important. Now, if you look at what I have here, it's pretty much done. So let's go to the regular sheet of paper and regular sheet. This is cardstock. This is copy paper. Anytime I do a finished drawing, I'll try to get cardstock. Well, let me pull back with the camera. All right, I think that'll work because you've seen the picture and you should be able to see the picture. So I'm going to do this again. Yeah, I'm gonna have to leave the light on. Let me shift my camera over because I'm getting too much of this and not enough of this. And this is the position that I draw. This is my area that I draw right there. All right, so again, I'm looking at the picture. I'm gonna start out with my torso. In any picture I'm gonna do, and I don't have, let me see if I have something with just another picture real quick, which is leaning. Let's say this guy. Let's say I'm going to draw this guy, okay? I'm going to draw my torso first, but I notice he's leaning, so I'm going to draw my torso at that angle. So whatever picture I look at, real quick, if anybody's like twisted or leaning or whatever, okay, like this Batman. So torso, again, start out with, because that's the biggest part of the body, the torso. So I'm going to make sure when I draw my oval, I'm going to draw it in that direction. So that's the first thing that I do is I draw that torso, making sure that it's not too big so I can fit the whole picture. Now, if I just want to draw this to this, I'll make the torso a little bigger. But that's the first thing I do is I draw the torso and I angle it whichever way that it's got to go. So, and it takes practice because you figure the head is this big. When you go down, the head is only this big. So the torso can start right around here. So I might have to pull out a little bit more because you can't see the top or the bottom of this paper. So since I'm in the middle, let's just say I'm gonna do the torso about right here. And it's not a circle. It's not too much of an oval, looking at my camera. And then again, hopefully that because his shield is above his head. So hopefully it'll go. So, okay, again, I'm looking at that center line. That center line is here. So I'm going to speed it up a little bit because you guys have seen that already. I'm looking at the dip, or the tilt of the collarbone. Here is the delt, one delt. Here's the other delt inside. Remember, wherever this line hits, it's going to be my side right here. So there's going to be my opening for the rib cage. And of course, the chest is going to follow this line here, unless the arm is way up. So I'm going to just give a little bit of a curve right here. And it's going to curve up here, and it's going to curve here, which you won't see that side because it's tilted to the side. So I'm going to bring my neck up like that. Still have all of this. My neck is going to be centered, and my head is going to be here. So here's my V. If I want to do something smaller, I'll do a smaller V, and then come up like that. Remember, that chin is going to be right around that top of that circle somewhere. This is a box. This is straight, and this is curved right here. And I can put my face, but I'm not going to get in that much detail. I'm showing you guys how to do the body, which is the hardest part of it. So we have that. Then we want to come back down. Remember, we want to come down, kind of do a little twist here. And then I'm going to do my oval. Not too far past this. If I want to, like I said, give him that little V taper, or that have that V shape that heroes have, I'm going to make this a little narrower, not too much narrower. So about right there, and then give it a little bit of that drum shape. So, and this is around too, so this is going to curve around. It's come around and it's going to curve around. So from here, as I said, I'm going to do my legs, which is just straight. So I'm going to do this. My knee, this is doing a regular stick figure. And then I'm going to do that. I'm sorry, I don't know why I did that. I'm not going to put a foot. That's probably why I was doing that. I'm not going to put a foot here because this is not going to be the center of the leg, because a lot of times when you do stick figures, they want you to make that the center, that line should go down the center. This is not going to go down the center because this is on the side. That's another difference between mine and theirs. So again, this other leg is going to go here, say the knee, and then this is, I guess that's the shin, I guess. All right, so I am back. My iPhone cut out on me because I had too much stuff. I forgot to erase all my other videos that were still in there, and it ate up my space. All right, so where was I? Okay, I was doing the leg, going back to the leg, do the knee. I don't do the foot because this is not the center line, as you will see later. So let's get on back with this. So we have this, and the arm goes back, and you have your elbow, and if you do the circle, you want to make the circle kind of big, and I'll show you why. And then it goes this way, and then you have your fist right here. So this other one, which is going to be kind of weird because it is, you see this, you see the fist, and it's going down here. So in cases like that, like when you want to do something, a foreshortening, say like his fist is going to be right here. Put his fist before you put the arm. Put the closest part first before you put the rest, because it's going to cover up a lot of everything else. That fist is going to cover up the rest. So I always put the hand, if I'm doing something like if this guy's holding a gun somewhere here, this is his gun, he's holding his gun, then I'll put that there, then I'll put the arm. It's a given, okay? The forearm is connected to the hand, period, and the bicep, tricep is connected to the delt, period. That's a given. So you always know that it's going to be connected to these parts, and this elbow is always connected to this part. So it's kind of like you know, regardless of where the hand is, you know that other part is going to come down. Let me do this. Let me do this. Let me do a red. You know that the forearm's going to come down to whatever length the forearm is, and then you know the bicep tricep is going to be connected to the delt, and the delt is always right here. So that's what I'm saying. It's a given. So connecting stuff is easy. You just have to know what is in front of what. So if I put this down like this, and I know there's something behind here, you just put it behind here, and that gives you that that foreshortening, not that foreshortening, but that placing in front of something else, and it's a ball is behind here. That's all you do. And then the hand is here. You know, now if this is angled, like really foreshortening, then I will do the cylinder. Like that, depending on how much it is facing the camera. So if my arm is facing the camera like this, you don't see much. You see this little piece right here, but it depends on how much it's turned down away. It becomes longer and longer and longer. If it's coming toward the camera or coming toward the viewer, it gets shorter and shorter and shorter. And if it's right there, this fist, for this example, is going to cover a lot of that arm if it's coming straight at you. But if it's angling a little bit, then you're going to see just a little bit of arm. The forearm is not going to go anywhere unless it's the bicep, unless it's like turned back, unless it's turned backwards. So these are little things you think about. A lot of times they don't really tell you these things in the books, and teachers in school don't tell you these things, probably because they don't know. I can't say. But you know, when I grew up, I had to teach myself this stuff, and I kept beating myself in the head because I couldn't get it right until, you know, I figured it out. So again, so I'm gonna put the hand. I'm gonna put the hand here, but I'm not gonna draw a lot because you get frustrated when you try to draw something, a lot of something, and you have to erase it all. So I'm going to bring this arm here like this. Okay, and put the elbow here and then connect this right here. So that's foreshortened because that's shorter. This fist is facing you, so you're going to have that cylinder like that. So you have this so far. You're pretty good. I don't know if I have to pull the camera back anymore. So the arms are going to be in the center. So what I do is I just connect this circle with this circle like that. That circle with the fist like that. Okay. Well, before I do that, let me connect this waist. And from here, all you have to do is just bring the line down. Is it curved? Is it twisted in? Just to connect here and here. That's it. Now you have this. When this is going down, you want to, if you hear that, that's the warbird. There is a woodpecker who's out there. I call him the warbird because it's like firing a machine gun. You probably heard that. This, and then just comes down because it actually, well, actually, if the nipple is right here, this is actually where it comes down at. It follows that. There are rules, there are lines, there are guidelines. I guess when God made the body, he had his ruler out there. There are actually guidelines that follow everything. You can break it sometimes, but sometimes you shouldn't because this turns to the side. So you want to see more of the side. So, okay, I just connected this. Now let's do this. From here, you want to leave some space. And because this is curved, I want to curve this as well, leaving some space like that. That's it. Now your legs are going to go from here to back here, not this. This is going to be like your seam, a seam, or I guess the side seam of if you're wearing some jeans or something. And it's going to come, of course, from here to about here. So let's just draw the legs real quick. And legs are just ovals. And then we have my knee. And then I have my triangle cone. Like that. And there's no muscle, there's no frustration, there's nothing in that. So if I have to erase something, it's no big thing. So again, from here to here, and I can make this bigger later, and then from here to here. So you pretty much have the position, and if I add the shield, you got a little bit of arm left, so let's just say I put the shield right here. And you pretty much have that position done. So let me put some feet on this guy now. And then And you see that? That's just a triangle. These are beginning. And then this is going to come straight down, and it's going to come out more. Noticing that this foot drops down. That's what I'm saying. Analyze a little further than that foot. And then you have it. Now my cap is leaning a little bit more, he is leaning, but I think mine is leaning a little bit more, which is still good, because when you lift your arm up and you raise something, you're going to lean a little bit more. And that's why I said about, don't try to make it so perfect. Do your own thing. Have your own. So we have this. So from right here is going to be your love handle, or your obliques. Right here is going to be your obliques, and it's going to come right down into the crotch right there. So remember, by just doing a triangle like this, your nipple is falling on that triangle, and your serratus muscles, if you come up and you follow that, your serratus muscles are going to be right there on that line as well. All right, so shoulders. I forgot about the shoulders. You see right from this point where the delt hits up into the neck. So it's going to be from here up into the neck, and you can make your shoulders as big as you want or as small as you want. It depends on that type of character you're doing. So this chest is going to come in front of this arm. This arm is actually going to go back more, and this is where you fix it. This is where you have the body now. So you have that body. Body's looking good. You're not terribly upset with it. This hand should be shorter a little bit. Anyway, what I'm saying is you're not terribly sad with it. I'm gonna pull back because I can't up and down. Much better. This is where your style comes in at. This is where you should not try to follow line by line, unless that's something you want to do. But your style should override everything at this point. Even if you're drawing Captain America, you draw line for the suit, yes, but just your style should overrule everything at this point. So let me just kind of fix this guy up and do the muscles on here right quick. That's going to go in. This is going to come down. This hand is going to be here. And I'm not going to draw the actual Captain America itself, because this is more to show you guys how to use this method, which I call the 21st century stick man. And I can actually bring this hand in if I wanted to get creative, which I just for the sake of this is probably gonna be the only part that I do change. So I'm gonna bring this hand about right here. Then I'm going to bring that in. That's about it. That's the only thing, just to bring it closer to his body. So we have your delt is going to be here. The bicep is going to go into there. Your chest is going to come up into that delt like that. The delt is going to go right into that collarbone. Collarbone comes up like this. Chest is going to go into there. And you know what? I'm going to do this in red. I'm going to redo this in red so you can see it. So it's going to be like this. Like this. Like this. So the chest is going to be here and it goes up into there. The neck, those extra muscles in that neck. So here. And this goes in. It doesn't come straight down. It does on the stomach, but it depends on the type of body you do. But I bring it in just to give room for the obliques, aka love handles. You can give them a little more lat if you choose to. Depends on how big you want to make your guy. Here is going to be my bicep right here. Maybe a little tricep at the bottom. And then the fist is going to come out like this. Here's my thumb right there. You show just a little bit of the inside of that. And then here's my shield right here. This face is looking out. I'm not going to be too concerned about the face or anything like that. I'm gonna lean it a little bit. Since he's leaning, I'm gonna lean this whole face a little bit more. There's a little more neck here because the side of the face comes up. This side comes out. He's got a big neck. He's Captain America. He's got a big neck. Okay, so down, down, following that. So here is this is going to be my, whatever that part is. When I think too much, I lose it. My leg. As I said, this is where you got the body. Now you just kind of frame it out. Because he's we got that knee coming in here. Part here. And I'll show you on this leg, other leg, because it's a little easier to do. And usually I like to curve my legs in a little bit. So we have this muscle here, which I always draw. It's kind of like one of the main muscles that I follow when I do a leg, but I don't know what that's called. So I'm going to show you something right here about the knee. When you have this muscle here, your knee is right here. There is this little piece of meat that comes down like this, and it goes right into your ankle. I'm looking for a pin. So hopefully you can see this. It comes around and it goes right down, and then your calf follows that right there, because that's your chin bone, and then it goes right into that ankle. Can you see that? You should be able to see that. Probably in editing you'll see it better, but let me pick it up just for you to see how that goes. Okay, so whenever you do your knee, with my red, whenever you do your knee, it's going to be here. And I say there's that meat right here that comes around there, and it goes in and down to your knee, and then you have your calf that comes there, and then your knee here. Depending on the turn of your leg, you have a little more meat on this side, then you have that calf again, other side of the calf, and your foot. Like I said, I like to curve my leg in, and then my foot is going to come here, and then this here. So you have your drawing that you saw and you analyze. Let me get my collarbone. You analyze, you saw it, you analyzed it, and you drew it. You don't make him too, because in YouTube we like, he's got nipples, he's naked. So yeah, I don't want to do that. So I'm going to do this other picture quickly. What is that guy? Who is it? Yeah. I know this guy, Iron Fist. Quickly and show you how it's done a second time. This is why my videos are so long, because I always show you twice. I show you several times actually how to do stuff, which, if you show somebody one time or you tell somebody directions one time, you kind of tend to forget. So it's best that you do it several times. Let's see if I can see this without my light. Nope, I cannot. Let's see what you guys. You see that line like going, this is what I see. I just see this whole without my light. So that's why I got to use a light. All right, so again, I see the picture going through paper. Oh, I liked it. I'm going to draw this. So first thing I do is I'm going to draw my torso. I'm drawing my torso, make sure he can fit on this page. So let's just say I'm going to draw my torso. It's my standard oval. Make it a little darker for you guys to see. Okay, that's good enough for me. His legs will fit. So then I look at it and I say, okay, he's going to curve this way. He's going to curve this way. I'm not worried about this part yet. I'm going to curve this way. Okay, so at that point, I'm going to do the important part. This is the important part. This is the second important part, is this. He's got his arms up, so this is in the shape of a V right there. Always change it later once you start really drawing. All right, so again, once this hits, it's going to go that way. So that's going to be the side of it. So I'm going to follow this, and it kind of juts out right here, comes down, and curves back out. So it goes like this, and then this kind of almost straightish, like that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to not make this too far away. And this has got to be right going around here. And then I'm going to do this again, like a little drum. What is that? It's like a speaker. Speaker, like that, one of those, I can't think of the name of the speaker, and it's got the little handle right here, and a big old keg of small. They're not as big as a keg. Anyway, so we have that. Then I'm going to put my arm. So this arm is actually kind of like going back. So I'm going to put that depth a little high. And then this arm is up here, so I'm gonna put this delt high too. Remember, this has got to go over top of the delt. It does not go into the middle of it or anywhere. It goes over the top of the delt, okay? So then we have this. I'm gonna bring this leg here. Here's my knee, and this one is going back like that. So I'm not gonna do the foot. So this one is going up like this. Can you see the picture? Yes, you can, like this. My knee is gonna be here. I might make that a little longer, but because I don't have a lot of lines, a lot of details, I can erase it and feel good about myself. This one's gonna come back like that. So his foot's gonna be somewhere here and here. So this one arm is gonna go back. You're just gonna see this little piece here. So this little piece right about there. Then I'm gonna put his fist here, because all you're gonna see is just this right there. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cheat, and I'm going to do this right there. And then that's what's left of his arm. And since I'm here, I'm going to do that. And I could bring the fist in a little bit more, but I'm not, because without this power, you still see a fair amount of that. So it's going to be like this, and it's going to curve like that. And the reason I always do this, where's my little cheat sheet? If I do an arm that's coming at you, you see this part of the wrist is narrow, and this part of the wrist is fat, because you have two bones. You have two bones going through there, and when you turn those bones, they cross over, and it makes the large. I used to be a little more muscular when I was younger. It makes that, how can I say, when you turn it over, it just makes it fatter in that arm, and you see that. So you have this little thin piece, and then you come out. So if ever I'm drawing an arm coming at you, I'll draw this top, and then like that. Like that. So you have just basically kind of like the straight, and then you curve it out, because that muscle comes around like that, if I'm not mistaken. Comes around, and then you have more muscles there. I'm not getting into muscles today, but it just is. All right, so we want to do this. We still have this. So I want to have my V here, of course, at the top, but his head is way down. His chin is right down on that. So I'm going to put his chin here. I'm just going to throw the head in there for just the time being. Just knowing where the chin is going to stop at. So with this one, we're going to have from the center of this, we're going to have this arm out, and then put my elbow here, and then on the side, I'm going to put my hand right about here. His hand, the hand right about here. And then I can do this, or I can cheat again, which is just an oval. Remember, anything comes at you, where's my little thing at? Anything comes as oval, okay? It just turns into an oval. Fatter here, thinner here, or vice versa. And then this, which is just an oval. I could bring this in and down more, but I'm not. I was gonna say something. It jumped right out of my head. Oh, my arms. When you do arms and legs, basically, this is an oval. Where's my red? Where's my red? This is an oval in the beginning, and this is a cone. Those are the shapes you use. Same thing with the leg, and you just chop it off here, and then put your fist. Same thing with the legs. Oval, circle, cone. And here's your circle right here. So you're using the same three shapes. Circle, oval, cone, oval, circle, cone. Okay, it's just kind of going backwards. Well, this is in the middle, so that's what you do, and then you just shape it up later. As long as you have everything in the right direction and the right proportion, you're good to go. All right, so coming here, I'm going to bring this here, and since I can probably bring that down a little bit, and then in here like that. So now I'm going to do the legs. Remember, the legs are not going to start here. It's going to start right at the top of this little drum, and you can always make them fatter later. So I'm just going to do my oval. And see, when you're drawing a leg from the back, because you have that calf, what I do is I'll do this circle, and then I'll just, I'll stick just some lines on it, and then I'll put my foot. That's all it is. It's just because this calf is just so fat, especially when you bend it back, it's going to take up more space, and then you can put the leg in front of it. So you're just doing this circle, and then these two lines, and then there's your foot, okay? And this line, the bottom line is always going to connect to that circle. So again, if I do the circle, the bottom of your leg, or the part that's pointing down, is going to come right off of that circle. The other part is not going to be in like that. And then you just bring this line in a little bit more into that leg to show that it is going back in perspective, or foreshortening. Yeah, there you go. And then this line, of course, comes into this calf, which gives you more showing that it is going behind. And I've seen that on a lot of people's drawings. They really didn't know how to put one thing in front or one thing behind another to give it that more foreshortening. If I do my arm, I bend this, you see that this is in front of that. Could be a better example, but I'm sitting in a chair. All right. So we're going to do this leg again. We're going to do this leg. We're going to bring this up. This is an oval, and I'm getting quick. I'm doing quick now, 23 minutes. And you can't see that, but that part is in front of this. Again, you have this calf, that, and then you can bring this down, and then his foot is going to be like this, and this other foot, this guy might be a little bit long, but I can change that. So we're going to have this circle right here. It's going to come, the knee is here, and then I'm going to have my circle. Then I'm going to have just my leg is connected to the bottom, remember? And then that foot. Like that. I think I got everything in there. You really can't see his neck. So, again, which the part that I keep forgetting to do the whole thing, I do it so much that I know what I'm doing, so I don't, what's the word? I don't always do it. Okay, so bring this in. If it's hard for you to do that, just do a triangle. Same thing. But you don't want to have it too low because you don't want to have the chest too far down. So kind of meet in the middle somewhere. And then you just round it off later. So this is going to come up like that for the chest. This is going to come up into that. If you pull that arm back, I usually just draw one piece like this right up into that chest instead of doing two pieces. So that, give a little more of that. It's the shoulder. The bicep is going to come this way. As I said, I could bring this arm in a little bit more to put that hand like more right here to give him that more of a foreshortening. And since I just started it, let me do it. So we've got the bicep right here. We got the tricep down here. And then it's going to be your lats are down here. So I said I'm going to put the hand right there and then just give this part right there. Do that part right there. So his hand is going to be like this. And I'm going to do some hands. Hands are probably the most difficult thing on the body to do because they just they move so much. Just, yes, I'm trying to figure out, there's no one method to do hands. So if you see somebody doing a book, oh, this is how you do hands. Not really, because hands just move so much. They're all over the place. This could have been closer looking at it. It could have been, but it's not. Make that head a little bigger. And this fist is going to curve around like this. It's one finger here. This other finger comes up and goes in. This finger comes up and goes in. This comes up and goes in. And you see a little bit of the baby finger down here. That's all right. 1, 2, 3, 4. And it comes around here, and then there's the thumb. Like that. It could have been a little better if I was taking my time, but like that. Okay, so now I can, the way they have his rib cage jutting out a little bit more, I can do that. And I can curve this in here. Oh, I forgot to do my thing right here. So this is, as I say, I do this so much, I forget. So I'm gonna curve it in here like this. And this would have helped you to place those legs. And from here, I'm gonna curve it in here. So this is where that bottom of that leg is gonna come from. Right here is where that bottom of that leg is gonna come from. And right here is where the top of the leg is gonna come from. When I start drawing, I just get automatic mode. So I'm not really going to do too much detail. I may do detail later just for a thumbnail. But for the time being, this foot is in. He's got that foot in. This foot comes out. Again, you want your own style to come through. And then you have that drawing that you saw, that you analyzed, and that you drew. And I'm still drawing. So, all right, that's going to be it for this video. I think I covered everything I wanted to cover. Little pieces that you draw. Remember to draw this whole thing first. Draw this whole thing first. Do this before you put your legs. Make sure this is in the center. However this comes out, make sure this is in the center of that, and then do your crotch. Then you know where your legs are going to go from here to the bottom, from the bottom to the top. So that line right here is going to serve as a center line of the side, not the center line of the center. All right. Nice long video. I hope you guys had your snacks, and I hope you guys learned something. Just try that. And there is a video, 21st century stick figure, stick man, that should be up by now. I hadn't put it up at this point, but it should be up before this one. Just look at that, follow those steps. I'll come back, look at this one, follow these steps, and you should get your positions really, really close to being right every time. Every time. So yeah. All right, that's going to be it for this video. Give me a thumbs up if you liked it. Just 2 seconds. Just get that thumbs up. It helps me get up in the rating. And then leave a comment. Just say thanks. Great job. Good video. Nice. Just something small. You don't have to type a whole sentence. But I do appreciate those that do leave these wonderful comments. Especially on this one, Monty Myers from Holland, from all places, left a wonderful comment. Yes, I did read your comments. I don't get to them too often, but I do read your comments. So thank you, Monty. I hope I didn't mess up your name. And then Edgar Compost. I hope I'm the rest of you. He's been a loyal viewer for a long time. I'm going to show some of his books online. Kind of give him a shout out as well. And the rest of you viewers. So, yeah, I'll see you guys because I'll ramble. So, yeah, just end it. Don't ramble. All right, later. Keep drawing.